I'd like just to go over something again on Kufnu and Haig. The Gemara cited the Gemara in Chulin that Pinchas ben Yoyer had wanted to cross a river, and he decreed and ordered the river to split. Initially didn't want to, it did split. Then there was a person accompanying him who had wheat that was cut for matzah, for Pesach, and again, didn't want to split for him. Then there was an Arab that was accompanying them, and again, split. So the Rav Yosef says that Pinchas ben Yoer's degree was greater than Moshe and Shishim Ribo. Moshe and the 600,000 people that were with him. Why? Because there the sea split once, and here the river split 3 times. So what happened once, here happened 3 times. Then it told over a story that Pinchas ben Yoer's donkey was in a certain location, and they wanted to feed the donkey untithed oats or barley. The donkey would not eat. So Pinchas ben Yoer says, this poor creature wants to do the will of its maker, and you're trying to cause it to violate the will of its maker? He says, you tithe it, it will eat. They tithe it, only then did the donkey eat. But it wasn't tithed, the donkey would not eat. So I just want to start from over here. The first column on Kufn and Heg. Min advorim haniglim vanirim, from what's revealed and what's obvious. In this particular story of Pinchas ben Yoer wanting to cross the river, it's about 10 lines down. They're hidden messages of wisdom. Bedaki klal habrios hem al tzuras odem proti. We speak about humanity. You take samplings of humanity. Most people are the same. We have the human race. It's comprised of people which have many, many similarities. The nuances of differences, but it's basically the Odom HaProti, the individual, is the equivalent, is a representation of the masses. Odom HaProti timtso shlosha kochos, vein einem chomriim. He says, in the individual you find 3 abilities, and they're not physical abilities. Ho'echod, ho'aseichel sheba'odom, person that's intellect. It's not a tangible, it's not physical. HaKoach Hashemi l'matim zeh is HaKoach nafshi eluki. That is what? There's a certain, that's the spiritual component in the person. V'im she'eno seichel, hu koach nafshi nivdol min hachomer. Meaning, even a person is not an intellectual, but every human being has a soul. That's the difference how you differentiate between a human being and an animal. HaKoach shlishi, koach nafshi, it's a feeling, it's something which has to do with the person's sense, but it's part of the, it's intermeshed with the physicality of the person. And we'll go to explain. He says, what he just said, these 3 aspects of a human being, something which is fully removed from the physicality. Then the neshama, that's the koach hanafshi. And then we speak about the senses that we have. What is the function of intellect? Something that's fully concealed, but by analyzing it, by reflecting on it, it reveals something that's fully hidden. Something which you weren't aware existed. Through intelligence, you're able to uncover things which are totally concealed. We refer to intellect as or haseichel. The enlightenment, we speak about enlightenment. Person's has enlightenment. Where does enlightenment come from? It's the intelligence. Because the mind brings light, brings clarification, or even brings about reality which you weren't even aware that existed. Just as if you have a darkened location and you bring light, it illuminates. What you didn't see in the dark, the light illuminates, and you realize it's there. He's quoting Chazal. Identically, the intellect extracts or reveals, uncovers what's hidden through the light of the mind, of the intellect. As you say, I see what you're saying. But you can't see unless you have light. You can't see in the dark. So when you say you see, I see what you're saying. It's the intellect causes that you're able to see. It's interesting. There's an expression, seeing is believing. Seeing is reality. A person understands something, it's still on an abstract level. If you see fire, you're not putting it in the fire. Understanding something may be detrimental to you, but you've never seen the like of it, it's not the same reality. Because one is abstract understanding, one is reality. Okay? Now, we say, Ezel Chocham Haros Hanolad. A person is truly wise. A person is wise, it's more than abstract understanding. Because of his experience of life, what he understands is almost factually reality. Therefore it says, Ezel Chocham, it doesn't say Hamevin Es Hanolad. He understands the ramification, he sees the ramification. It's seeing, it's not understanding. That's wisdom. Understanding is intellect. Wisdom is reality. Okay? But the seichel, the intellect, has the ability to reveal, as light illuminates, the mind also illuminates. Yesh b'nei odom ba'olam ha'kloli k'bnei odom she'im madreg sa'seichel. The people who exist in humanity, they're on the level of intellect, totally removed from physicality. The physicality has no bearing on their intellect. Many people, they're all convoluted and distorted because they have conflicts of interest. That means their intellect does not transcend the physicality. The physicality has a very strong influence on their intellect. Okay? This is the most advanced level of intellect where you remove totally from the physicality. The physicality has no bearing on your intellect. And as a result of this, you're able to come upon certain understandings, which is the most advanced. Other people, even though they have intellect, they cannot come upon certain understandings because their intellect is affected and influenced by their physicality. That was the level of Pinchas ben Yair. And because he understood of what he understood, his advanced level of understanding, it says, where was he going? Why did he want to cross the river? He was going to ransom the captives. Now, what is a captive? He's incarcerated. For all intents and purposes, he's in a non-existent state. When you release him through redemption, through ransom, you're bringing from non-existent into existent. So what is that? That's his essence. That is the ultimate level of intellect. That you, because you have no conflict of interest, you're able to extract true understanding of whatever may be. That's the level of enlightenment. The mind which is tainted, even with that level of light, it's a distorted light. It distorts what it is. I'll give you an example. There's certain colors that unless it's in sunlight, you don't see its true color. If there's any degree, if it's artificial light or it's, let's say, colored light, you're going to see a distortion. Because there's something else which is, it's not genuine, it's not pure light. The mind, to see something in its true light, what it is, it cannot have any level of distortion. What happens if that mind, that intellect, is something else intermingled? A self-interest. You're not going to see it in its true light. It becomes a distortion. You're not going to see it in its true color, as we say. Okay? So what's pigeon shvuim? He was going for pigeon shvuim. See, he's going. So what is ransoming a person who's a captive? Sheyikna odam madrege el yona penimis. Sheyumotzi gamkin hashovui. Ashu yoshev choshev v'tzalmovis. The pasuk refers to a person who's in captivity. He's in darkness. He's in the shadow of death. That's why a person, when you release from prison, a person says birchas hagomel. Right, for that reason, because it says he's Tzel Movis. Tzel Movis is the shadow of death. And when he ransoms him, it's L'or Ulam HaMetzius. He's coming to the essence of light. A person who engages in this type of activity, this kind of chesed, you actually merit to advance to the highest level, to the most inner level. Omotzi madregel yona zos lor hametzius. We're not even talking about pikuach nefesh. Kolamatzel nefesh achs misro kitzel hitzel olamoli. So it comes out. It's not only a person who's a captive. Let's say a person is drowning and you save his life. Why is it any different? I mean, the man is on the brink of death, and you save his life. So I mean, he's going into darkness, into death, and you take him out of that state. Seemingly would be the same thing. The person, through his activity, he merits to have the clarity of mind, which has the ability to remove something that's concealed into the light of reality. Comes out interesting. I mean, so according to this, a person who engages in something similar to this, you're going to merit clarity in Torah. Right? Torah itself is concealed. We have the written text. Written text is open for endless interpretations. But to come upon the truth of Torah, that you need a special siyata d'shmaya. Right? What is seichel? Seichel is really it's a spiritual component. An animal doesn't have seichel, doesn't have intellect. A human being has. Seichel is directly related to one's neshama, to one's soul. Right? When it says, Vayipach b'apav nishmas chayim, it says God blew into his nostrils a soul of life. So what does the Targum say? Ruch Mamalu, he became a speaking species. What is speech? It's an expression of the intellect. That's what it is. It's taking something from the concealed state into what? Into a reality state. So reading the Maral writes in the Siva Torah that what it says, the Torah Gemara says that when a person studies, he should verbalize and articulate the study. And then you're able to retain it. So he says, if a person doesn't express something, even though you know it, but what's its location? It's embedded in the physical. When does it take on its own identity? When you express it. When you express your intellect, now it takes on. And what is that? That's what? That's spiritual. When it's in your mind, it's not fully spiritual yet, because it's intermingled with the physical. But once you present it, what is it? What is that concept that you've said? It's no longer in your mind. It's no longer concealed. You revealed something which now, this is the word of Hashem. That becomes spiritual. It's something similar over here. So you're taking something min hanelam la'or. But that's what seichel is. V'arei ein ha'hefresh bein pidyon shvuyim shu motzi l'or ha'shavui asher yoshev choshev v'tzal moves. There's no difference between a person ransoming a captive, that you're taking him into light from being captive, which he's sitting in the darkness and the shadow of death. You achieve and acquire the level which is really a concealed level, which is set off by itself. Now it becomes your reality. Until now it was beyond your reach. Now it's within your reach. You're able to extract something that's on a level of hidden, concealed, to light. What is the mind? What is intellect? Intellect, until you express it, you don't know what, it doesn't, for all intents and purposes, it has no relevance to anything. He's Lefichach Nikra ben Yoir. He's Pinchos ben Yoir. Meaning, he's the son who illuminates. Shumotzi Madreg Elyon Ora Metzius, the most advanced level, which is not really fathomable, because of what he's done, he's able to reach that level, to take something that was not achievable, to make it into a reality. Al Tatam Al Shanu Dorshim Shem Ben Yor. I mean, he was named Ben Yor because his father's name was Yoyer. So he's Ben Yoyer, he's the son of Yoyer. Shein Sofik Higdolim Minchas Ben Yor Shmo Mora Al Maloso Majuroso Metzius. There's no question. A person of this dimension, the name of his father, of course it was his father's name, but why was he called that? Why did he merit to have a father with that name? To indicate that he will be the one who will reach that level of illumination. So that's the first level. Totally detached, removed from physicality, at that special level, which is normally not achievable. There's the other level. What is that? What is that? It's the soul, but has nothing to do with the intellect fathoming levels which are not fathomable. He goes to explain. And the Odom Oskim Mitzvahs Hashem Yisborach. They do godly acts. Tefillin, Sukkah, Lulav, Matzah, Chesed. What is it? It's a mundane act. It's a physical act. But that physical act, what is it? It's a godly action. Because God says this is the mitzvah. It's God's commandment. She mitzvahs elokoyos, the godly commandments. So if you engage in something which is godly, what does it do to you? It spiritualizes you. Okay? So Pinchas ben Yair was Ben Yair. Who accompanied him? Someone who had wheat for matzah. So what is that? What level was that person? He was at a lesser level. He engages in the physical for the sake of the spiritual. So the action, the physical involvement is he's doing God's work. Give you an example. The Chofetz Chaim explains, if you take an animal, which is a hulk of meat, bones, sinews, and blood, unintelligible, and you consecrate it, what has it become? It becomes a holy object. What happened? Purely the designation that this is designated for God. It changes its whole essence. You benefit from it. You have liability. You have to bring a korban for atonement. You have to pay value plus a fifth. What happened? Because since now it's in God's domain, it takes on a different dimension of value. It's fully physical. Doesn't make a difference. So if a Jew who has intellect, Chofetz Chaim writes, you eat something and you infuse it with an intent. Right? You eat for the sake of serving Hashem. You put on the mitzvah, the tefillin, having in mind to doing it for the sake of mitzvah. It's a leather box. It has no value in terms of yourself, but if you infuse it, I'm doing because God commanded me to do it, takes on a whole different dimension of value. That's mitzvah elokis. V'zeki. Hamatzi nivdelis min asor. He says, but why did he say specifically he was carrying wheat that was cut for matzah? What does that mean? It's unleavened. That means matzah is something which is separated from yeast. Right? It was careful, it was supervised or protected to make sure it was dry, that it shouldn't ferment. What is, as explained, what is chometz? Tasty. It really epitomizes what physicality is, desire. When it's matzah, it's bland, low. So it's fully removed from the physical. So, but that's what a mitzvah is. Although it's physical in its makeup, but it's fully removed from anything physical. Because what is its dimension of value? Its value is godly, although its makeup is physical. Okay? Asher b'ochet shu asor b'vadai ulefikach mitzvah zos kona al yodo b'frat madreg elokis gam kin evdels min achomrik Achu dome ma sheyesh ba'odam haproti koch nafshi eloki nivdal min haguf hachomri. You have a component that's within you. It's connected to the body. It makes the body function, but in what capacity is it functioning? Due to what? To the influence of the neshama. So we have two levels. A person who's totally, through his intellect, he fathoms concepts which are unrelated to the physicality of the person. Then you have the person who is the mitzvah Jew. Mitzvah. He takes the physical and he invests it in the spiritual. So there, it's physical, but it's removed from the physical. It's not for the sake of the physical. Then he speaks about another level. It's person who's involved with the physical for the physical. He's a human being, but it's not removed. It's not fully. It's not godly. People engage in commerce. Although when you engage in commerce, you may do it for the sake of to facilitate a mitzvah. That now you have the means. But in what you're engaging at this moment, what is it? It's purely physical. When you eat the matzah, you put on the tefillin, although it's physical, but that's a godly act. When you earn and you engage in commerce for the sake of that, it's fully physical, with an objective to be used. So that's one level less. In its essence, it's not something which, it's a godly act. Through the means, you're able to facilitate the godly act. Okay? By engaging in worldly affairs, the world is able to continue. In Kemach in Torah. Because of what you're engaging in, now the one who's at that exceptionally removed level, he's able to maintain himself. Because what you're providing in existence. Dom lekoch nafshi abilti nivdal, ki al yodo yishkiyum el hasechel, vel koch nafshi hanivdal. V'zeu shomar David b'adayu tayo. He had a merchant with him. Tayo could either mean Arab or a merchant. There was a merchant also was there. So what is a merchant? He merchandises. He gets involved in commerce. So commerce is the least level. Ki as tayo hu socher bal masamaton. What is engaging? Commerce is you're engaging what? In bartering, trade, but what is it? It's all physical. It's all physical. But what happened? The person who's doing it, and why is he doing it? He's doing it, let's say, for the sake of the spiritual. And that brings the person to his full state. He says, the world at large, it has form and a profile of the individual. Who accompanied Pinchas ben Yair? Person who was transporting wheat for Pesach, for Matzah. In addition, who accompanied him? There was this merchant. So these three individuals, in combination, what do they represent? The totality of humanity, the three levels of humanity. That's what they represent. So let's talk. Pinchas ben Yair, he was at that exceptional level. But again, he also did mitzvahs. So what about when he did the mitzvah? That was the second level. What about when he ate? And he would sleep. His eating and sleeping was to facilitate more spiritual. But what the actual eating mundane, ordinary food? It's physical. It's interesting. The Gemara says over there that Pinchas ben Yair never ate of a meal that was not a Sudas mitzvah. Only Sudas mitzvah. Would not eat ordinary meal. It had to be Sudas mitzvah. Why? And if you eat for the sake of Hashem, to facilitate mitzvah, was not good enough. But yet, he was adamant he would only partake of a Sudas mitzvah. So I think this is the understanding. Because eating for the sake of facilitating spirituality, the act itself is not a mitzvah. It's not godly. What about if you partake of a Sudas mitzvah? You're celebrating a wedding, you're celebrating a siyum, or you're eating Sudas Shabbos, or Sudas Yom Tov, the meal you eat on Shabbos. There the act is a commandment to eat that. So there the meal itself inherently is the mitzvah itself. It's like wearing tzitzis, eating tefillah, eating matzah. That's what it is, the same thing. So if you're able to do it at a less level, you do it at a more advanced level. Of course, what's going to spiritualize you to a greater degree? The more advanced level rather than the lesser level. Although you're eating l'shem shamayim, you're eating purely to facilitate the mitzvah, doesn't make a difference. It's still at a lesser level. So therefore you'll be affected to a lesser degree. Just thinking, the Gemara says that when the Kohanim, they eat the korban, their portion, we know that the sprinkling of the blood on the Mizbeach, on the altar, that's called kapora. That brings atonement. What about the consumption of the korban? So the Gemara says that Kohanim ochlim, balim iskaprim. When the Kohen consumes the korban, the one who brought the korban is atoned. The eating of the Kohen atones for the sin for what the sacrifice was brought. What's the concept? But he's eating, it's a mundane act. No, there's a mitzvah to eat the korban. There's a mitzvah to sacrifice certain parts of the offering on the altar. There's a mitzvah to sprinkle its blood, but there's a mitzvah to eat the korban. Now, the Kohen being the officiant of Hashem. So, it's like we have an obligation to eat matzah, he has an obligation to eat the korban. So what is his consumption? It's a godly act. The Kohen doing that act, that brings about atonement. He's not eating something which is ordinary, right? Something which is non-consecrated, which is chulin, what we call chulin, which is ordinary. He's eating something that's special. It's interesting. I mean, the Kohen, if he has enough grain or produce that grew in Eretz Yisrael that was given to him as tithes, his whole food consumption is purely mitzvah, right? Whether it's truma, whether it's meiser, which the Kohen has meiser also, this is all mitzvah. There's a mitzvah to eat it. So therefore, meat that he eats, it's the portion of the korban, of the sacrifice. So every aspect of his life is engaged in spiritualization. It's like eating matzah. I once said that a human being is comprised of three parts: neshama, ruach, and nefesh. Neshama is the ultimate level, the soul. Ruach is the spirit. Nefesh is the life source. Okay? Now, if you'd want to classify Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, how would you classify them? Moshe was neshama, the ultimate. And we say he fathomed understandings that no human being ever fathomed. He's Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay? And he was able to grasp something. He's the neshama. Aaron was not able to understand what Moshe understood. What is Aaron? Aaron is ruach. We find that ruach, what is ruach? Ruach is what? The spirit. Speech is spirit. What does the Kohen do? The avodas HaKohen, or the Levi, is what? Is singing. Singing in the Beis HaMikdash. Singing is what? That's what's ruach. That's spirit. And what does the Jew do? The Jew brings the korban. That's the physical act that's bringing. Nefesh is movement. He brings it. The ordinary Yisrael is on the most minimal level. He's the most basic level. Yeah. The Kohen, so what I'm saying is, the Kohen, what we're saying now, if he's the Ruach, he's not the Neshama. That means ruach is the linkage between the physical and the spiritual. That means he engages in something which is physical, but it's consecrated. You understand? What does the Jew do, the ordinary Jew? His main occupation is what? His commerce. Is ordinary. But his achievement has to be, you do the ordinary for the sake to facilitate. It's like the Yisachar Zvulun. Zvulun engaged in the Torah itself. What was Zvulin's? His involvement. He provided the Kemach so there should be Torah. So Zvulun was a less level. In terms of the ultimate achievement, they were equal as meritorious. Because without Zvulin's providing, they wouldn't be Yisachar. Yep. V'teda ki elu kochos einam chomrim kol v'chol. These abilities that we say, the intellect, or doing something which is godly, the mitzvah, or engaging in the physical for the sake of the mitzvah, they're not mundane acts. They can't be mundane acts, because each of them is infused with an intent. You eat l'shem shamayim, you eat for the sake of God. But eating ordinary food doesn't make a difference. But because it's associated with that intent, it's infused with that intent, it elevates it. So it's not just a physical, mundane act. We speak of the life source that exists within us. It's not something which is totally physical. Right? It's not something which is tangible. Yes, he says, the koach nafshi. A person has a desire to have pleasure. A person has a desire to what? To be a certain inertia, to be just left alone. That is the feeling of a person. That's koach nafshi. That's the life source. I don't want to be burdened. I don't want to make the effort. So if you go against the grain, so you're spiritualizing the nefesh. So he's explaining that the koach habchirat lies in the nefesh, in the life source that the person possesses. He says the proof of the pudding is that an animal which has no intelligence, it doesn't always listen to you. Sometimes it listens, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on its mood. You see, there's a certain degree of what? Of determination whether you do or you don't do. But what is that? It has no intellect. It has no soul. So you see, choice lies within the physical component, the life component that every living creature has. It's not the neshama. It's not the what, and it's not the middle. That you're able to overcome the physical and do what you want. That automatically tells you that what? That characteristic that a person possesses is not fully physical. If I take a piece of wood, you ask me, what is it? It's a piece of wood. I mean, you could shave it, you could cut it, you could form it, but what is it? Beginning to end, it's a piece of wood. A human being, what he is or what he becomes is based on what? On what he chooses. Nature means naturally it goes always in one direction. See, it's not simple what he's saying about an animal. That an animal, you see, has bechira at some level. Of course, it does very often what it wants to do, not what you want it to do. So that's called bechira. Not necessarily. He says, from there you see that within the nefesh, within the life source, you see that it's not necessarily etched in stone. Let me ask you a question. Every animal, you can almost predict its behavior based on many things. If it's hungry, if it's sated, climate, habitat, all these things determine how it's going to be. Why? It could be instinctive. It could be instinctive behavior. So it's not bechira. It's agreeable because. It's disagreeable also because. Everything out of the because. So it's not that the animal has any control over whether it wants or doesn't want. You make it attractive, instinctively it's attracted. If it's something that has no interest, instinctively it withdraws. That's it. But it's not koach habechira. A human being, when we make choices, it's not there's something which activates things that we should do and not do. It's something which we make a decision to do. And we do it to the extent that we do it is because of that's our decision. So that is koach habechira. Umikol mokom. Since the person possesses this life source which is removed from the human being, although it physically it exists within us, but factually it always interferes that the koach hanafshi eloki, the soul, is not able to achieve what it's meant to achieve. V'kein hu moneach lekoach nafshi habilti divdol kol kein b'olam hakloli ki ain't sofik ma she'olam hazeh hu chomri, because this world is physical. Hu moneach shel yikna odom hanadreg al yona. You know, everybody's affected because this world is physical. We live in a physical existence. That physical existence puts limitation on us, and once you have that physical limitation, it interferes that you're not able to achieve the ultimate level. It says he came upon a river, it's called Ganoi. River Ganoi. Yodua ki koach hatzomeach hu chomri. L'gamri. You have this? You have the plant kingdom. When something grows, it's purely physical. Although there's movement, it's growing, but that's just a reaction. It germinates, it sprouts, and it grows. Because we speak photosynthesis. It's the tree, the sap in the tree, the various fluids that flow through the tree, which goes to the branch, and so on and so forth. But what's the tree? If the tree itself is a physical essence, how could the plant, the growth process, it can't be anything but that. Why was it called Nahar Ganoi? It's because it comes to the word of Gino, a garden, because without water nothing grows. So it's the river that provides the water to allow things to grow. That's what it's called, Nahar Ganoi. Kach nikra achom yesh ba'olam Ganoi. V'nikra Ganoi Naror v'lo Genai Levad. Why was it called Ganoi? Why is it called Genai Nahoro? Ganoi Nahoro. Ganoi the river. It's the river. Zeh shomar lo ki achomri nikra mayim. Moshe Pirish Lamala Eitzav Mikimina Mayim Shisiru B'Kam Makomos. What is water? Water itself has no form. Whatever you do with it, it becomes that. So what's its essence? Its essence is physical. You mold it, you form it, you put it in a narrow location, takes on one form. Wide location takes another form. You cook it, it vaporizes, takes another form. You freeze it, it becomes ice, that's another form. So if you want to epitomize what physical existence is, it's epitomized with water. Now it's interesting, the majority of the world is covered with water. A human being can't exist within water, right? So what does that say? So what is this world, which is physical? Water. So you see, even though water brings taro, a person's contaminated, you immerse yourself, you're relieved of the contamination. Doesn't make a difference. It's interesting. Okay. Moshe Pirashon Mala Eitzel Okay. Ucheilu Omar Shekoach Chomri Pogabo. So who did he meet? Pinchas ben Yael came upon the koach chomri, water. Water it represents something which is the most mundane. Other things at least has a form. You see God's imprint on it. Water, there's no imprint on water. And this prevents the person, because it's physical, doesn't allow him to ascend to that spiritual level. What is a river? How do you differentiate between a water cistern and a river? A river is movement, it's flowing, always flowing. Water cistern, it's contained to the walls of wherever the water is contained. So what we speak about, life goes on. Nature is like the river. Just keeps going, keeps flowing. And what's a river? A river represents the epitome of physicality. Has no form, no profile, nothing. And it's physical. What is life? Same thing. Well, it seems to be a little more sophisticated. You don't get bored with it. But in essence, it's no different. It doesn't cease for a moment, it just keeps going. But a person achieves to acquire this most advanced level, that's something which is rare. Most people aren't that. This is what? The out of the ordinary. It's due to his choice and his will. רוצה ולפעמים אינו רוצה, כמו שהסבר בסמוך עצתו סופג, עושה סופג, יתו עושה. ונברי עושה. Okay, I'm going to have to